Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into the Battle of the HONEYWINE from the Dance of the Dragons. But before we begin, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, let's jump straight into it. The Battle of the HONEYWINE was one of the many battles fought during the Dance of the Dragons, which was the civil war between the Greens of King Aegon and the Blacks of Queen Rhaenyra. Given that Aegon's main supporters were House Hightower, the family of his mother Alicent, the Greens assumed the lords and lands of the Reach would side with them. Instead, many of the major lords from the north and east of the Reach declared for Rhaenyra Targaryen and her Blacks, including houses Caswell, Rowan, and Tarly. Several of the Hightower's own vassals declared for Rhaenyra, such as houses Beesbury and Costain. With the Reach divided between Blacks and Greens and Lord Lionel Tyrell of Highgarden and only a baby, his regent mother declared House Tyrell neutral in the Civil War, instead of quickly marching armies from the Reach to join with the other Green armies in the north to overwhelm the Blacks. The Hightowers and their allies had to slowly fight through the Reach itself. Following the early Black victories in the Riverlands at Harrenhal and Stonehenge, Sir Otto Hightower, the Hand of the King, sent messages to his nephew Lord Ormond Hightower to deploy a large Hightower army to put down these rebellions in the Reach. Ormond assembled a great host and marched out of Old Town, only to be quickly set upon by Black forces. While they were far outnumbered by the Hightower army, the Black forces faced them from multiple directions, and used harassment tactics to slow their advance. Alan Tarly and Alan Beesbury joined forces to raid Ormond's camps day and night, kill his scouts, and set fires in his line of march. Further south, Lord Owen Costwain came up from Three Towers to harass the Hightower's baggage train in the rear. These hit-and-run attacks from multiple directions lasted for several months, but the Hightowers failed to pin down the rebels. By late 129 AC, worse news reached Ormond that a large host equal in size to his own was descending from the north of the Mander, led by Thaddeus Rowan, Lord of Goldengrove. The host apparently consisted of the combined strength of the Rowans, Caswells, and other Blacks in the northern Reach. Faced with enemies in front and behind, rather than advance, Ormond decided to halt and camp in a defensive position along the HONEYWINE. He remained there for several weeks, while sending messages back to King's Landing, urging Aegon and his brother Aemond Targaryen to send one of their dragons to aid them. However, Aemond had been badly injured at the Battle of Rook's Rest. In the hot heat, Aemond decided that the greatest threat was from his uncle Daemon Targaryen at Harrenhal, so he ignored Ormond's calls for aid and took Vhagar and his remaining army north into the Riverlands. The Hightower army left Old Town soon after the war began in the Riverlands, around mid-129 AC, while Ormond halted his advance soon after the Battle of Rook's Rest in late 129 AC. Rowan's army reached the HONEYWINE roughly 3 weeks into the new year 130 AC, which was a fortnight after the Battle of the Gullet, which took place on the 5th day at 130 AC. In the third week of the year 130, Ormond Hightower's army was caught between two armies while backed against the banks of the HONEYWINE. From the northeast, Lord Thaddeus Rowan and Tom Flowers, the bastard of Bitterbridge, came in with a large host of mounted knights. Sir Alan Beesbury, Lord Alan Tarly, and Lord Owen Costwain joined their smaller forces together and attacked the Hightowers from behind, cutting off their retreat to Old Town. Attacked from the front and rear, Lord Hightower's lines were starting to crumble, and defeat seemed all but a foregone conclusion. Just then, a massive shadow appeared in the sky above them, Prince Daeron Targaryen on his dragon, Tessarion. It was then that the battle turned to the favor of Aegon's forces, and the rout was underway with heavy losses in the retreat. Tom Flowers was killed in the battle, and Lord Owen Costwain was mortally wounded by John Roxton, wielding the Valyrian steel sword Orphan Maker. Both Alan Tarly and Alan Beesbury were taken captive. The only Black commander who managed to escape was Thaddeus Rowan, who retreated north with the remains of his host. The battle was a significant blow to the Blacks, ending their offensive operations in the Reach. In addition to their armies being destroyed, most of the major Black commanders in the Reach were either killed or captured in the battle. Thaddeus Rowan was the only exception, though he also apparently bent the knee several months later. Following only a fortnight after the devastating Battle of the Gullet, Lord Barrett suggested that the time had come for a negotiated peace. Instead, the recent tragedies pushed Rhaenyra Targaryen to make a risky strike on King's Landing itself, as Daemon's strategic plan had lured Aemond and most of the city's defenders into the Riverlands. Daeron Targaryen was hailed as a hero that day, and knighted by Lord Ormond Hightower with the Valyrian steel longsword Vigilance. Daeron was first called Daeron the Daring after the battle, though Daeron modestly said Tessarion was the true hero of the battle. The battle did, however, succeed in slowing the advance of the large Hightower army, indirectly preventing the Greens in the Reach from aiding the Greens to the north. The Westerlands armies were annihilated in the battle by the lakeshore, while the Green armies from the Crown Lands were destroyed in the Butcher's Ball. With young Tessarion now joining the Hightower army, none of the remaining Blacks in the Reach could stand against them. Lord Ormond and Prince Daeron enforced the submission of the Rowans of Golden Grove, the Oakhearts of Old Oak, and the Lords of the Shield Islands. The Hightower army spent the next month slowly advancing up to Rose Road, smashing any Black forces that attempted to harass them. Daeron on Tessarion proved invaluable in scouting ahead of the main host from the air, to give them advanced warning of enemy traps and ambushes. Eventually, they besieged Long Table and sacked Bitterbridge, where they crossed the Mander again and proceeded east towards King's Landing, leading to the first Battle of Tumbleton. So what did you guys think of the Battle of the HONEYWINE? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.